Yo, what's up, Ceiling Fan? What's up, Darkid? Andrew, Kevin, Troy, Lil Ro. What's up? How's everybody doing? Damn, it's getting hot. What'd you all think of the Black Clover chapter? Now it's been out officially for several hours, so what are you guys' thoughts? Subject acquired. Yo, first time. Hey, Yoke or Yoak, thanks for coming into the stream. Appreciate it. I have a lot of things to say about this chapter. I liked it. I think there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Like power scaling, narrative. I even have critiques of the chapter depending on its possible implications. But it was overall a good chapter, but we'll get into it. Mr. Star, I'm sorry, hey, don't worry about it. You can't make every stream. And remember, if you miss it, you can check out the highlights channel I have. Every stream is posted there. What's up, everybody? It's up XD, Byron, Joe. Hopefully the attack doesn't return LA back to normal. Yeah, that's kind of what I agree. Dark at 9.5 out of 10. That's a pretty high score. Chapter was peak. It was good, yeah. Little Lily clapped Angry Boy Asta incoming. So, in my opinion, it'll be a little anticlimactic if this is the end of the Lily fight. But it's definitely not the end of the arc. There's going to be something else, and I'll get into that later once I get my predictions of the next chapter, or even just the next few chapters. Luckily, we're lucky now. Remember how over the last several months, we've barely had any consistent Black Clover chapter releases. Like, we had half the amount that we were supposed to. Well, we've now had 3 chapters in a row, I believe. Or I think it's just 2, and then we're going to have a third. Because the next chapter, 350, it says it's coming in 7 days, which means it's not another break. So we're about to have 3 chapters, 3 weeks in a row, which is nice, because I feel like having all these breaks have just slowed down, the pacing, kind of, for the Black Clover manga. It feels slower than it really is. So, it'll be nice that we're having 3 in a row. I wonder if she'll keep Beelzebub's power. Well, we'll be talking about that, for sure. You can see her eyes are turned normal. Well, that is the issue with the whole Paladin debate, is that Lily has a base form, but I don't know if I've paid attention to her eyes. The Paladins have base forms, and then they transform into their Paladin form after Lucius has tapped them. So I'm gonna see if I can find the page where Lily is in her base. Is it 344? Because I don't necessarily think that it's confirmed that the Paladins have been reverted. But yeah, so Lily has normal eyes in her base form. So I'll even show you. So this is 300 and whatever chapter. 344. So this is Lily after she's already been turned into a Paladin, but this is her base form, and her eyes are normal. So just because her eyes turned to normal, it doesn't mean that she's actually not a Paladin anymore. So that's the hope for me, that Asta is not the key already. I wouldn't mind if Asta does become the key for this arc. But I'm sorry guys, if I sound sick, I actually did end up getting sick. I thought that when I streamed on Friday, I just had a sore throat from my acid reflux, but nope, I actually just had a cold. So hopefully I'm better by tomorrow, because I need to record shit. But I didn't use that, and so she probably didn't turn back. In my opinion, I believe he did. I just don't think it just didn't say it, because it looks kind of identical to his attack that he did on Yurlu. And it would just be weird that he would need Zetten to defeat Yurlu, but not Lily. And it's kind of doing the same effect. So I'd say it's a light pace Zetten, it just didn't show it in the chapter. Do you think we'll see Paladins stronger than Lily? Yeah, I definitely do. Definitely do or XD. But everything's okay now. You know why. Why? Okay, so I'll just get into my thoughts of the chapter, kind of go through it, starting with page 1. And page 1 just starts with just an immediate tease. Like, because Asta's here, and then Heath, he's thinking back to when he lost to Asta, like, 300 plus chapters ago. He's like, who would have thought you'd get in my way again? And then Yosuke comes up, and he's like, this isn't my thing, but it's gotta be done. I'll take you on. After all, even I've got too much tact to butt in on my guy's rendezvous with his girl. Now, I like the way that TCB scans worded Yosuke's line better. It just seemed like to fit more consistently with his character. But, I mean, it's still, it's the same meaning. I just think that Buzzer did a good job on the TCB translation. I think it's better. Yeah, hopefully this isn't just a tease. Because we have barely, Yosuga, it was just chapters previously, was bodying Asta. And he wasn't even using his magic. We don't know what his magic is, necessarily. We don't, and he should likely have a transformation type spell, like how all the other Ryuzen do. So, but, I mean, then again, just based on how strong he is, he probably won't even need to use it. I think we will see full power Yosuga, but it will not be from Heath. And hopefully we do see some of the fight, but I have a feeling we won't. But there is a huge statement from Lily here. She's like confused that he's alive, and Asta asked her, like, I thought you sent me to the land of the sun on purpose. And she's like, no. She's like, I meant to kill you. And then this is like the huge debate in the fandom that's kind of been spurred on by this. Asta's like, even if you're being controlled, there's no way you could ever kill us. And then Lily's like, I'm not being controlled. I still think that, in a sense, she is, because I saw people on Twitter saying that you were dumb for thinking that Lily is brainwashed or the Paladins are brainwashed, even though we have a statement by another character theorizing that with evidence to back it. And just because she's saying she's not being controlled doesn't mean she isn't, because it could be the brainwashing that's making her say that she's not being controlled. Like, if she's being brainwashed, why would she admit it, is my opinion. And even if she is still Sister Lily deep down, but it's just she's had Lucius's essence being implanted into her to, follow him, that still is a form of brainwashing. So, I don't know why, Black Clover fans on Twitter are arguing that it's stupid to say that she's brainwashed, when it pretty much is, pretty much, all the evidence is there that she's brainwashed. This kind of leads into their fight, and we get to see a Holy Fist of Love, which just is a huge callback to Chapter 1. You even get Asta thinking about it. But now, Asta, she's doing it on Asta that's just a completely different Asta from Chapter 1, and Asta just slices through it like it's nothing. Then we get a few interesting things from Lily here. Unless Asta's immobilized, the forced spatial transfers doesn't work, and then she also says that, the spatial domination is just pointless against Asta and his anti-magic. So she says she needs a stronger spell, and what she does a combo spell within herself, which I believe this is the second time this has happened, where a character has done a combo spell to themselves when they have two magical attributes. Because this X symbol right here, and then the two magic attributes, that is the signifier of what a combo spell is in Black Clover. And this happened with Zenon. I believe he did this with Bone in Space when he made Dangsliv. And so what this kind of means here is kind of crazy for power scaling. It means she's taking two spells and combining them and making it stronger than the sum. So this spell should be more than 2 times stronger than base Lily, or base Paladin Lily. Like a regular just Paladin power. Sashiel's Flash. And that'll be important to talk about too, because Sashiel is actually an angel, an archangel, in mythology and religion. So, anyways, Lily creates this beam and starts shooting at an Asta. And no, she still just wants Asta to die. She's like, this is for the world's sake. Please die, Asta. I'm still, just super convinced that, there has to be some form of brainwashing here. I don't get, how Lily, the very earnest and innocent character, still wants Asta to die without any form of brainwashing. Am I the only one that thinks that it's a little off? Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the chat. That's exactly what ABD said. I don't know what they said. Confused on what the water part of Sashiel's Flash is, though. I mean, it just seems like it's just water and spatial magic mixed together. What's up, Mala Slayer? No, I don't watch them, Mr. Star. Yeah, so let's get back to the chapter. So, and then this is where we get a further, like, expanding of what's happening with Lucius and Lily. Lily's like, it's not as if I want to, and it says Lucius is right. She's only been conditioned. She's only been conditioned to prioritize that. Sister Lily is still Sister Lily, and people have been using this again to confirm that Lily is not brainwashed. But this is the opposite. This confirms that she is brainwashed. If she's been conditioned to prioritize that Lucius is right, that's literally a form of brainwashing. Like, she still is Sister Lily, but it's just that's that rule or that law inside of her soul or inside of her brain where Lucius is right. That still is a form of brainwashing, though. So I'm just still really confused why some people think that she isn't brainwashed, when this is just confirmation that this condition, that Lucius is right, is inside of her. And she's like, it's not as if I want to. She's like, she's even saying right here, it's not as if I want to. So she's saying she's doing something that she doesn't want to do because of this, which means she is being brainwashed. Like, it just really confuses me. But Lily starts spamming more of these attacks, and she has 3 of them. This kind of makes me think of Yuno's star magic. I mean, it's different, but just like having these star-shaped things floating around her, shooting beams of light, or space and water, I guess would be this. But it just makes me think of it, which really wants me to see Yuno fight again at his full power. Cannot wait for Lucius versus Yuno. And so Lily starts crying. She actually was crying in the previous panel, but starts crying again. Asta just takes the beam head on. This really makes me think of Spirit Ladros versus Asta. When he got his black form, he just flew right into the beam. And then Asta's like, there's just no way this is right. I am never going to forgive you, Lucius. And then just slashes Lily. And the reason why, like, because I think we were talking earlier on stream that people were wondering if this was not Zed, because it's not stated, but it is like the same exact, like, thing here. Like, the same effect that's happening on her. Like, the look of the slash right here. And then you have Lily losing her paladin power. And why wouldn't he use the Zetan slash on her that only attacks her magic and not her? So it definitely makes me think that he did use Zetan. They just didn't, like, state it in this instance of the chapter. And then you have Lily's face. Her magic, her paladin powers are going away. But as I was already discussing, this does not confirm that Asta is turning all these paladins back into humans. All the paladins have human forms and paladin forms. I'll show you guys one more time. In chapter 344, it's actually shown multiple times, but this is like the most blatant one. This is after Lily's been turned into a paladin. We know this because she's with Lucius in his like throne room. And this is Lily right here. She's just in her like human like base form. Look at all this base Lily or whatever. And then I think it's like next page, she's a paladin. So like just because she's getting reverted to a quote unquote human form does not mean that she is actually losing the power. So that would be a huge critique for me if like Asta, just like in the Elf arc, then it's not gonna hit, because like I like when narratives do like rhyme, like kind of like George Lucas, how like a lot of the Star Wars movies, they rhyme with each other. They have similar tones, but you know they're done differently. Like they mirror each other. Tabata does a lot of that in Black Clover. I just don't. I hope that it's not the same thing with the Paladins. And as of right now, there is no evidence that that is the case, because he's just turning them to their base form. And that's also, we also have to remember here, guys. Asta is using his Demon Slasher Katana on the Paladins. He is not using the Demon Destroyer Sword. When he turned the elves back into their humans and cast away their souls, that was with the Demon Destroyer Sword. not the Demon Slasher. So I really think that he is just he's just turning the Paladins back to their base forms. They can let's say Lily gets healed after this, or like she wakes up and she's partially recovered. She should be able to transform into her Paladin form again, which it's good. Because I don't think it's the best writing if Asta can just do these to the Paladins like he could do to the Elves. And especially if he's doing it with a Slasher now. And he doesn't even need his Destroyer. I think that would be a little out of left field for Tabata to have him just be able to do it with his Slasher. Because I'm like 99% sure that was a Slasher. I'm going to go take a look, but I'm pretty sure he's just been using a Slasher this arc. Yeah, it's just his Demon Slasher katana. He's not using the Demon Destroyer, so it would just be really weird for him to be able to do this now. Black Clover, great characters, boring arc so far. I disagree. Yeah, so her eyes being normal, as I showed earlier in the stream, that's just her base form. So there's no proof right now that Asta is just turning them into their normal humans. So that's a lot of people's critique. I would have the same critique if that was confirmed. That's not confirmed yet, so I'm not gonna hold Tabata to it. So, well, yeah, it'll be bad if this is the case, though, in my opinion. But my other critique of this chapter is, as I said in my last review, I really hoped that this fight with Sister Lily was more than one chapter. Like, this could have been a huge spectacle, and I think it should have been 2 chapters at the very least, to expand on like a good themes and good dialogue and make it more emotional and actually add a bit more of a spectacle to the fight, like have them doing some crazy ass shit for 2 chapters. But 1 chapter, it's a bit too sped up for me. But I mean, the fight might not even be done. Just because she's losing part of her Paladin form does not necessarily mean that she's screwed. Lily was Paladin, even human. Yeah, but I'm just saying Limai, that this doesn't mean that Asta is turning them into normal humans to where they're not Paladins anymore at all. Asta one-shot. Well, the reason why I think that... So, first I'll go to my predictions for this arc, or for the chapter, next chapter, and then I'll get into like a bigger prediction. So I think next chapter could just be the ending of Yosuga versus Heath. The chapter might just start with Yosuga like being cocky and Heath's just on the ground down for the count because Yosuga's that strong. And then they'll have to fight the dragon again. Remember, the dragon got resurrected. And then it might just be Asta and the Ryuzen 7 fighting the dragon. And that's kind of my prediction for the next chapter. But this also might be the next chapter, or even later, is I think it's going to be finally the Shogun of the Land of the Sun, Ryu, and Lucifugus, their connection will be revealed. And I think he will end up being the big bad of the arc. And that'll help Asta like be prepared for Lucius by fighting such a big bad. Ryu is just a super sus. The weird part of his past, the fact that he has no magic, but literally just instant egged a Zeton from Ichika and Asta like it was nothing. He has this eye and this really weird power. The power is tied to devil power because other types of forbidden magic have granted characters the ability to see like Ryu has. So Black Clover Reddit thinks Beto is above you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. The Black Clover Reddit is filled with... I'm not even going to expand on it. Like, it's just bad. But, I mean, it's just a Reddit. You're going to find all kinds of people there. Even people that just don't even pay attention. But I think that Ryu... He either is going to be working under or for Lucifugus, or Lucifugus is going to take over Ryu. And then this Lucifugus or Ryu pact thing, what they're going to do is they're going to take Beelzebub from Lily. And then Beelzebub with Lucifugis and Ryu, it's just going to be a completely broken combination, and maybe even like purified. I don't know. But yeah, I think that that's going to be like the outcome. I think that it's going to be something like that. How strong do I think the dragon is? KZ Glow. I think it's pretty strong, but Asta should be able to take it down. I think these were probably going to be, besides Lily, the weaker paladins. Especially Yurlu and Heath. But, yeah, so I think that Ryu is just going to come out. It'll be revealed that he's the villain, like I theorized months ago. He's going to be tied to Lucifugis, and then he's going to the two of them are going to try and take Beelzebub, maybe the devils or devil power given to Yurlu and Heath. It's never been confirmed that Yurlu and Heath have devils, but they should at least have devil power that's been purified. So, but yeah, I think Ryu is going to be the big bad. I think it's pretty well foreshadowed at this point. Heath has Lilith's power. I don't think that's been confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised, though. I doubt Asta can or was able to negate the soul manipulation Lucius put the Paladins with the Demon Destroyer Sword. They can only negate the Paladin's form and maybe weaken the urge to follow Lucius. Yeah. I mean, I think the Demon Destroyer could possibly do something, but he's not even using it. People forget that Lucifugis is a loyal servant of the three rulers. That is kind of just taking the mythology or demonology of our world and applying that. Because we don't really know much about Lucifugis in Black Clover. And if we go by consistency of how devils are portrayed, they don't really have fealty to each other. Like, Megicula was going to essentially betraying Lucifero by manifesting early and all that. So I don't think that because Lucifugis is loyal to Lucifero in demonology, that means that he's loyal to Lucifero at all in Black Clover. I mean, it could be, but Yuno's parents are definitely paladins, sun and moon magic. That'd be interesting. But now that somebody brought that up, I do want to go read the chapter where Lucifugis is shown and just double check what's said, because I think it does say something about him supporting the devils of time, space, and gravity. But I can't remember how it's worded. It says the underworld is ruled by three devils of gravity, time, and space. One of the devils who supports them is the supreme devil Lucifugis. Now, supports is kind of vague. And just because Lucifugis supports them, and this is 20 years ago too, by the way, doesn't mean that. But I also think it would be interesting that if Lucifugis does have fealty to Lucifero, and maybe even the other Devil Kings, that Ryu and Lucifugis could be a villain to Lucius and a villain to Asta. And therefore we have three factions all warring against each other. You have Asta, who now has Lucius and Ryu and Lucifugis as an enemy. And then you have Lucius, who has Asta and Lucifugis as an enemy. And then you have Lucifugis, who has Asta and Lucius as an enemy. Say that 3 times fast. Could I make a Yuno and Asta fight switch video one day? Well, that's easy to determine. Like, do they slap? I've seen that a lot of people have been doing that with, like, Naruto characters. That'd be interesting to see it for Black Clover if you swapped Asta and Yuno. But I don't think there's enough. Is there enough fights? I guess there is to do. Yeah. Was Asta in his base the whole time? No, he's in his Devil Union. So, yeah, I really like the chapter, guys. What are you guys' thoughts? I thought it was good. I think it's not as good as the last chapter, because this chapter does imply that the fight's kind of over for Asta versus Lily, and I wish it was longer. And my boy, I do think Asta used Zed versus Lily. Because you can use Zed without saying it, and we don't see Asta's eyes, so he could be using it, and it's very similar to what he did, so... Union Eye? Yeah, I finished Bleach over a year ago. So... I'm gonna put a poll for you guys. But yeah, I like the chapter. My issues are just like if Asta is really just saving all the paladins completely, that's gonna be kind of crappy. And if this is the end of the Lily fight, it's kind of crappy. But it's still like a good chapter. Oh my god, too long. One chapter. So I'm going to do perfect, great, good, okay. Oh damn, I can't do bad. Okay, so I'll get rid of perfect. Actually no, I'll get rid of great and just do good. And so perfect, good, okay, and bad. Will DU and TD return? I do think that they will. I think the main reason why Asta's been using partial Devil Union is because they want to show off Asta's Land of the Sun garb. Because, you know, Black Clover is a Japanese manga, and they're in Japan now, so they probably want the marketing of him in Japanese outfit, and him going to Devil Union all the time would ruin that. So I think that's one of the reasons why Partial Devil Union was made. It also makes sense just in the narrative too, but... Ooh, good point, XD anime. Yeah, I'll talk about power scaling in a sec. I have thoughts about how this Asta vs. Lily just proves the power creep and the power cliffing of this current saga. But yeah. What do I rate Black Clover between a 1 and a 10? If it's Black Clover as a whole, I'd probably give it a 9.5. So, why doesn't he use the fourth sword, Devil Union, then? That's Samurai. Yeah. Why isn't he using regular Devil Union? I mean, he should be able to use it. It's probably just... I think it's a mixture of partial Devil Union. It's just... He needs the time limit, I guess. I don't know. And I think they just want to show off the Japanese outfit, because Black Clover's Japanese manga. Aiki, do I think Ichika would be able to beat Sister Lily? No. There's actually a scaling implication from the last two chapters that just show how broken Black Clover is. Which I'll get into now. So, let's just talk about what Asta did this chapter and how strong Lily is. To show how strong Asta is. So, we already know that Lily has all of 100% Beelzebub's power, but it's even more than that. She also has a Grimoire amp. Because I know a lot of people, they talk about, oh, well, Lucifero, all these devils, they didn't have a Grimoire, so they weren't at their full power. Well, Lily has a Grimoire, and then she just got all of Beelzebub's power. And that means that she automatically is probably well above 100% Beelzebub. And then she gets a Sacred Power amp on top of that. Byron, saw Piku on Twitter criticizing you for saying that using the editor's statement is wrong. I mean, yeah, his logic was terrible, but that's okay. Piku's cool, but not really good for power scaling, but that's okay, though. It was just funny because he showed 3 editor statements that he thought were wrong, even though 2 of them were objectively correct editor statements, and 1 was just like, if you look at it in the context of what it's saying, it's still correct. And even if all of those editor statements were wrong, there's over 700 editor statements. So, but anyways. So, as for how strong Sister Lily is, she's way stronger than 100% Beelzebub, right? And then what does she do this chapter? She does a combo spell to herself. Water, X Spatial Magic, Sashiel's Flash. And this is stated to be like a very strong spell. Probably her strongest spell, because it's a combo spell. She says she needed a stronger spell. Now the importance for combo spells is that combo spells have been consistently shown in Black Clover to be A plus B, or greater than A plus B. So, like, if you do a combo spell, it's greater than just adding the powers together. Which, what this means is that it's essentially a power with, so let's say the water magic, it's used with all of her mana. So, it's a power right here, the water, greater than 100% Beelzebub, and spatial magic, also greater than 100% Beelzebub. So we actually know that this spell is over 2 times more powerful than 100% Beelzebub, because it's a combo spell. And I'll show you the reasoning real quick why, like, combo spells are just pretty much objectively greater than an A plus B increase in power. It's shown way back in the Elf arc. So you have, I think it's Elf Klaus and Elf Hamon, and this isn't a combo spell. This is just them attacking at the same time. And they're doing this to Asta, who I believe is crucified. And Mimos is crucified and Asta's in front of it. Comes in, this is base Elf easily negates the spell. Easily. This isn't a combo spell, this is just them just merging, or just attacking at the same time. So, it's A plus B, because that's both their spells. Just easily negates it in his base. Let's go to the next chapter to show why combo spells are greater than A plus B. So, what happens is they attack again, and easily negates it again. So it's showing that them A plus B is nothing to base And then what happens? They do a combo spell. The combo spell is so strong, and we know it's greater than A plus B because needs to transform into Spirit Dive. Also needs to go into Black form. Needs to do Spirit Storm, one of his strongest spells in Spirit Dive, and needs Asta's help to do it. Which is essentially proof that a combo spell is more than A plus B. So what that means is that, Lily is doing a combo spell between herself, which means it's more than those 2 spells combined. Which what it means is that power is double her regular power because it's a combo spell between herself. Which means that this spell right here is more than 2 times stronger. Like, it's way more than 2 times stronger than 100% Beelzebub. What does Asta think of this spell? Just flies right through it. This is regular partial Devil Union Asta. He's not using Zetten here. And he's just flying right through this spell that's twice as strong as Beelzebub like it's nothing. You know what that means? That means that partial Devil Union Asta with Zetten, which Zetten is stated to be a many tens of times multiplier, and the Raws, which would mean 40 at the lowest. That means that when Asta uses Zetten, he's over 80 times stronger than 100% Beelzebub. And we're talking about how people are saying there's no power creep or power cliff this arc, when you have Asta being over 80 times stronger than 100% Beelzebub, a Devil King. So the power scaling actually goes crazy. The power scaling goes crazy in this arc. Asta's just negging a spell, and his regular partial Devil Union that's twice as strong as 100% Beelzebub. And it's even greater, because this is a character that Paladin Lily, as I've already said, is way stronger than 100% Beelzebub. And so she just doubled a spell that's already way above Beelzebub. And Asta's easily negating it, and he still has Zetten on top of it. So it's like, we're talking about an insane amp in power. An insane power cliff that Asta, in his partial Devil Union, is stronger than a way stronger than a doubled full power Devil King. Limai, I don't agree with your Grimoire amp, because Yuno's is a special case, because he didn't just get a Grimoire, he got also access to a whole new mana pool that he awoken with Star Magic. So, wait, who slaps in base? Who you are talking about? Probably in base. Well, Mr. Star, Zetten means Heavenly Severance. Zetten is the Japanese word for heavenly severance. So that's why they called it that in the fanlations in TCB. Do you notice the Sister Lady used a spell for... Yeah, I did notice that. But yeah, so that's like the crazy shit. His magic power never increased, lol. And that's like the implication. Yeah, like Phantom X, Lily. You still think 3 times like Asta is above current? Dude, what? No. How do you think that, Limai? Yeah, the Lily using a combo spell between herself. I think she's now the second person to do that. Makes it even more likely that Yuno is going to be doing a Solar Wind combo spell. But also, guys, I want to show you guys the importance of this chapter too. Because this chapter actually just straight up proves that, like, current Asta is above True Devil Union. Let me show you. So, Viz doesn't include the editor notes, but these are statements by the editor in Black Clover that are placed in the manga, but they're removed by Viz. Why is this website doing this to me now? Okay, so this is in the chapter. Why? Oh my god, what is going on? Oh my god. Why? Oh my god, bro. Is TCB not letting me read the manga right now? I'm trying to show you guys the editor notes, but TCB won't even let me read it. Yami would give Yosuga... I mean, current Yami, maybe. Phantom X, just curious. How and why are editor statements just as credible as author statements? They're not. But they're still... I would say that an author statement is more credible than an editor statement. But an editor statement is still a credible source. Because they are... People don't... I don't think people will realize, but the editor at times has more power than Tabata than over Tabata's own story. The editors are very important to the creation process, and also the editor knows a lot about the future of the series. So, but for some reason TCB is not letting me read the chapter. Like, it lets me read all of the pages except for the last 2 pages, which is where the statement from the editor is shown. Like, I don't know why it's doing this. It's kind of annoying. What? It's never done this to me before. Well, I just saved the image. And then I'll bring it up. So I just saved it real quick. And I'll show you. And it's gone. What the hell? Okay. So, this editor statement says, and this is chapter 339, right after Asta first learns Zetten the first time. It says, in this foreign land, surpass your limits and reach unseen heights. Now, unseen heights, and it's talking about surpassing limits. This would mean that in the land of the sun, Asta is he's going to become the strongest he's ever been, because that would be an unseen height, which means that no matter what, he'd be stronger than True Devil Union. So there's that. And then the editor statement ends up confirming itself in this chapter. hopefully TCB just lets me read it. Because it sucks is like the editor notes. Yep, it just doesn't let me read it again. What the hell? I've never had that from TCB scans. I'll just save it again. Actually, no, wait. Am I looking at the wrong place? Okay, finally I think it's working. Yep. Okay. So, and this is the latest chapter. It says, Asta's completed his training and mastered Zetten. Which means, if it goes back to the previous editor statement 10 chapters earlier, because Asta's done with his training and mastered Zetten, that means that Asta's stronger than True Devil Union right now. So, oh, did I put 350? Damn, I meant 349. Well, Viz doesn't have the editor notes. Okay, alright. Viz removes all the editor notes from Black Clover. That's why I had to use TCB. I use Viz for everything else. Alright, so 83 of you guys voted. 2% of you guys thought it was bad. 13% thought it was okay. 54% good, and 30% perfect. So, overall, it was pretty well liked. Flagoleon's updated guidebook page is released today. I thought I saw something about that on Twitter. Does it say anything interesting? But, so yeah, guys, there's the proof that Asta has surpassed True Devil Union. Well, it's not even the sole proof, but if you Asta now has better feats, better scaling, better statements than True Devil Union, and he has the editor of Black Clover stating that Asta just reaches unseen heights, which means he's above True Devil Union. Now you're good. Okay, alright. So basically, why do you keep saying base Asta? I'm so confused, because you asked if Asta was in base, and I said no. And you keep bringing up base Asta. I'm just confused. What is base Asta's feats? Like, Casey Glow, please answer, because I'm so confused. Would Spade TDU even be stronger than 100% Lucifero? I mean, I don't think so. Like, if you look at Spade, True W, and Asta, he beat 50% Lucifero. But he did have a bit of struggles. So if Lucifero has doubled power, and maybe even doubled physical strength too, I don't think True W and Asta does beat him. Base Asta has a lot of feats this arc. Like what? Like, I'm trying to think. Asta, when he fought Lucius, Lucius trapped him in the Time Orb. Then he had to transform into full black form to break out of it. Did you miss chapter 338.5? It was released while on break. You're messing with me, bro. Base Asta, yeah, Base Asta feats are getting folded. Like, because, like, he did that against Lucius. And then he learned Zetten in base, and then he got folded by the base Ryuzen. The base Zetten Ryuzen. What has Asta done in base? No, I never asked if it was in base. I'm asking how, now that he's gained his strength and where he is now, does it count for base or only his forms? No, because he's performing these feats in his form, so that doesn't mean his base would be this strong. I doubt Spade Saga, True W would even put a scratch on 100% Lucifero. I think he would, he might be able to damage him, but I think he would lose the fight. Conrad versus Agred. I cannot wait to make that video. I'm definitely going to have to make that when that movie comes out. I mean, it's very likely going to be Conrad, because that version of Asta should be broken if we use anime canon. Yeah. I mean, if you go off of Lucius scaling, he should scale above 100% Lucifero. The fact that partial Deviant Asta could fight him, and even Asta said he's stronger than when he fought Lucifero. But a lot of people don't like to use the Lucius scaling, which you don't even need to use it. I've already made a meta where you don't even have to use Lucius scaling at all to show that Asta is stronger than True Devil Union. I'll talk about that. Once this arc is over, I will be doing the Ryuzen 7 versus Lucifero. And I will talk about even the low-end metas of the Ryuzen body Lucifero, let alone the high-end. And, like, one thing I did want to bring up, too, from last chapter. We can actually argue that partial Devil Union Asta right now is more than 40 times stronger than the partial Devil Union Asta that bought Lucius And then when Asta right now uses Zetten, he'd be 1,600 times stronger. There's evidence for it. So I'm gonna show you that. That's from the last chapter though, just to show you the crazy power progression for Black Clover. Like, actually, it's from the last 3 chapters technically, I believe. 4. Well, you guys remember, right, that all the paladins, they saw the Ryuzen use Zetten against the 5-headed dragon. I'll go back to 346. We know that the paladins were there, present at the fight, and, like, here's this image right here. Achika just cut off the head of the dragon. Paladin Lily sees it. We know all the other paladins are around her, so they saw this. So they see the power of the Ryuzen. And then Asta shows up, saves Achika, and then Yurulu, it says right here, in that moment, recognizing a tough enemy, the beast roused its fighting instincts, which means that just regular partial Deviant Asta now, not even Zetten Asta. Yurulu is like scared of him, but he didn't get these instincts against any of the Zetten Ryuzen with their forms activated. So you could argue that Asta has now surpassed Zetten Achika with just his Devil Union. And then Zetten on top of that would be another 40 times multiplier. Like, the Black Clover power, cliffing, and scaling is just insane. Like, I don't... Does Tabata know what he's doing? Yeah, Asta's actually had that collar on his neck for a while. Do you still think that Asta can't cut through any magic after 3 trip? Or do you mean, like... Do I think that Asta... He still has to scale to the magic that he's cutting? That is the most supported right now. Just, I mean... I know that Yosuga last chapter said that, oh, anti-magic Zetten, it's broken. No magic can stop it. But we've gotten that statement many times for anti-magic in the past. And then it just shows that it's not, because then it gets anti-feats all the time. Limai, I know you're trolling, bro. Limai is just trolling. I know he doesn't believe that. Yeah. Not even the top 20 anymore, Elmafil. What do you mean? But yeah, the power scaling just went absolutely crazy, guys. Yeah, Asta gets mollywopped by Doctor Strange. Like, comics Doctor Strange just claps. But yeah, like, this chapter alone kind of proves the power cliffing in multiple ways. Mr. Star, do I think anti-magic is a limited thing? Like, can he run out of anti-magic and not be able to use it anymore? Yeah, I don't... Yeah, he should be able to run out of anti-magic. Excuse me. Yeah, if my fire can burn universes, how can some water do with house level win? Exactly. Asta versus anti-spiral. I don't know what anti-spiral is. Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. He was kidding, though. He was kidding about Zagrid. Versus Thor Ragnarson. Who's Thor Ragnarson? But this chapter's interesting. And one of the things I wanted to go back to is that we actually have an angel from mythology named in this chapter. And that is Lily Sashiel's Flash. So I did want to go and actually look up Sashiel's Wikipedia page. Damn, the chat just covers it. But you guys see it's right here. Sashiel's an angel or an archangel in mythology. So I actually just wanted to bring up their page and see if there's anything interesting about it. So I'm just going to start reading it. In Kabbalistic, which is important because that's where Tabata gets a lot of his references for Black Clover, and Christian angelology, Sachiel is an archangel of the Order of Cherubim. The name Sachiel originally occurs in the late 1500s grimoire called the Heptameron. That'll be something I'll have to look into, a grimoire. In the earlier mentions of that angel, its name is spelled in various ways. Two mid-12th century birch-bark manuscripts were found apparently containing the archangel's name spelled as Sikael or Sixael, repeated thrice to serve as talismans against disease, which is interesting because Lily heals people. In the late 1200s grimoire, the oath-bound Book of Honorius, its name is spelled Setquil. That spelling was taken from the early 1200s Jewish occult book Sefer Raziel Hakmalach, Book of Raziel the Angel. The Sefer Raziel is highly inconsistent in its spelling of the angel's name, which is therein spelled twice as Saquel, 3 times as Saquael, twice as Sakael, and once as Saquel. Damn, so they even had plot holes back in the 1200s, guys. It is this last spelling from which derives the latter spelling Sachiel from the Heptameron. The wide variation of spellings of the name is in the Sefer Raziel is in large part the result of the fact that the author created the angel by conflating together 2 different angels from the 400s CE Jewish book, Book 3 of Enoch. The Sefer Raziel spelling Saquel and Saquael are derived from the 3 Enoch angel Zatkael, which is also spelled Shatkael and Shatakael. The Sefer Raziel spelling oh my god, there's so many words. The Sakael is derived from the 3 Enoch angels Sahaquel, which is also spelled Shakaquel and Shahaquel. Those 2 angels were discussed in 3 Enoch. Sachiel is associated with the zodiacal sign Sagittarius, the weekday Thursday, wealth and charity. While in most sources Sachiel presides over Thursday, which is Thor's day, others do assign him to Monday or Friday. All associate him with the planet Jupiter. As such, in New Age angel lore, he can be invoked for matters involving money, finance, law, politics, and religion. His sigil appears in Francis Barrett's The Magus, an early 19th century compendium of occult lore. It also appears in the 16th century treatise, The Complete Book of Magic Science, and it appears in pop culture in the Japanese anime franchise Neon Genesis Evangelion. A monster belonging to the race known as the Angels named Sachiel appears in the first 2 episodes of the anime series. Okay, well, this doesn't really give too much information. Probably going to need to look into it more at a later time, especially that grimoire. But that was a lot to talk about. A lot of Sakael names. A lot of different names. But I think I did see somebody on Twitter talking about how this angel did have relation to water power. I kind of want to look at and just do a little Google search and see if there's any non-Wikipedia stuff. Actually, let's look up Sachiel, Archangel of Water. Wow, there actually is a post in 2019 that says Sachiel is considered to be the angel of water, which is interesting. So, looks like Tabata did use a little bit of research to make this thing. Sachiel means the covering of God. That's interesting. How strong is Lily's water laser? It's well over 2 times 100% Beelzebub's power. Lily versus Devilheart Xenon. Lily claps. Just gave a history background lesson. I mean, I just read a Wikipedia page. It's not that wild. But yeah, I'll definitely look into this Archangel a bit more. Tabata's always cooking, yeah. I kind of... What I kind of miss about is that I remember when way earlier in Black Clover, like when I was making theories years ago, there was a lot more Norse stuff to go off of, and then Tabata's kind of left most of the Norse stuff behind to focus more on Kabbalistic and more Middle Eastern religions or mythologies. Really, the main Norse thing he's been doing is he brought back Rill, or the Norse stuff with Rill when he did Twilight Valhalla and he drew Odin and stuff, but Tabata is just really combining so many different mythologies and religions for Black Clover. Strongest angel in history was Lucifer. It took all angels to beat him. If God stood up, it was no way Lucifer could even stand back. That's interesting. But I wonder if we'll get any more like archangel names from other paladins, like Dalmatio, or maybe if it's Morgan as one of the paladins, Nox's brother. I'm really interested to see who these paladins are gonna be. Really interested to see. But I'm really hoping that Ryu just steals Beelzebub's power from Lily, and we get like a Ryu Lucifugus Beelzebub combo. It's gonna be wild as hell. Like, it's insane. Like, what is Asta scale to now with Zedden? He's probably still large planetary, maybe dwarf star level at this point, but after you said you had a girlfriend, I went out and got one myself. Oh, congrats, Mr. Star. Oh yeah, Phantom X. That was a talk, I think last week by Buzzard brought that up. He said it would be really wild if when Lucius is fighting Yuno, if Lucius brings back some of those Golden Dawn members and turns them into paladins, and they're like talking shit to Yuno, like, oh, you let us die and stuff, to really get in Yuno's head, that would be awesome. Dark Eye, how good do you think the movie will do compared to JJK0? In terms of how good the movie will do, like, successfully and financially, it's a very different game, because Jujutsu Kaisen 0 and Demon Slayer, they were movie theater releases. In the West, we're only getting it on Netflix. And then also, for both the series, they were both way more popular than Black Clover, so it's hard. The issue is, it's actually hard to say, because we know that in terms of manga, Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer are way more popular than Black Clover. But the anime of Black Clover, it's very different. Like, this past year, the Black Clover anime was the #1 selling anime in Japan. So I think that the anime of Black Clover is a lot closer to JJK and Demon Slayer than the manga. So when you also pair this with the fact that anybody with a Netflix subscription can watch the movie, and a lot of people already do, there's going to be a lot of people watching this movie. So it's probably going to like increase the popularity by a lot, because they can just watch it on Netflix. So I think it's actually possible, not probable, possible, the movie is more popular than JJK or Demon Slayer's movie. I think it will be comparable, but not to that level in terms of success, because I think it's gonna be very popular, because it's gonna be on Netflix. Anybody can watch it. Also, because it's gonna be on Netflix, it's gonna be way easier for people to pirate as well. So that's funny, since out of all of those 3 adaptations, Black Clover by far is the worst. Yeah, I agree. Black Clover's adaptation, like, is... Black Clover would be, in my opinion, it would be more popular than My Hero Academia by a fair margin if it had, like, half the quality of animation that My Hero Academia did. Infected Flesh. Do I think the Demon Dweller's sword will contain a demon soul or a demon dwelling within it, if not Astaroth himself, which would explain the extra horns Asta has? I don't... Why? I think that it's called the Demon Dweller Sword just because it absorbs magic and the magic ends up dwelling in it. I don't think that there's a devil in it or a demon dwelling in it. It could that would be interesting though. Mugen Train made more than 30 times its budget and it's the highest grossing film in Japan. That's the other issue with the Black Clover movie, is that it depends on how much Netflix bought the rights for. Because it's not going to make more money from getting theater ticket sales because it's only in theaters in Japan and it's in Netflix in Japan on the same day of release. Sadly, Netflix is self-sabotaging itself tenfold. Netflix is not involved with the Black Clover movie creation progress. They just bought the rights to stream it. So, if they just release the movie, that's all they have to do. Netflix really doesn't play a part in the actual production of the Black Clover movie. That's what I've seen a lot of people be. I don't know if that's what you're saying, but I have seen a lot of people confused, and I think that Netflix is making the movie because they're streaming it, but that's not the case. Triggered Senpai is already preying on its downfall. Not surprised. Tired of people asking dumb questions. I don't think I've really had dumb questions, but if you think that people's questions are dumb, Tony, then ask a smart question yourself. But I'm excited for the movie, guys. We're 2 months away. That might seem a long ways away. If you think about it like this, Thanksgiving was more than 2 months ago. So you think how soon Thanksgiving felt. I guess some of you guys might not even be American though, so you wouldn't even know. But time goes by fast. Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know if that's what you meant, but a lot of people have been saying that. As long as Netflix doesn't just accidentally shadow the movie on its site, it'll be okay. But I think it's going to be on the top 10 for Netflix when it comes out. Like, why would a demon be in the swords? Because it's, I mean, Tony, because it's called the Demon Dweller Sword. The, like, the primary definition of dwell, or dwelling, or dweller, is it's residing or living inside of something. So if it's like that could mean that a demon is inside of it, living inside of it. I don't think that's the case, but that's why. You never answer my questions. I don't see every question. Like, I try to answer a lot of you guys' questions, but if I miss it, like, I'm sorry. But if you really have a question you really want me to ask, you can super chat at any price. Or members, too. If you just become a member, you get priority for questions. But it's just hard to answer everybody's chat. I actually think that Asta's going to have a similar moment to Ichigo. Because in the first Black Clover light novel, it's confirmed that magic items, they actually they siphon your life energy away from you in a non-harming way to actually power themselves. And this is why Bruce was like a living soul inside of the magic item, because he stole so much life energy from his wielders that he became his own sentient being. And I think that would be really interesting if Asta has something like that, where him using the swords and then the people of the past using the swords, he might have to, like, talk to or fight the spirits inside the swords to fully get to know his swords and get even stronger. Because the swords that Asta's wielding should be magic items. They basically meet the requirement of being a magic item based on what we know of them. Seen a lot of people saying the movie isn't canon. Yeah, it is canon. The main reason people are saying it's non-canon is because the person who said that and has like a pretty big following on Twitter, they kind of just gave a bad analogy. Like, they were correct, but it was easy to misinterpret their statement. But it is canon. It just didn't... Basically, it's just, it wasn't manga material, but it still is canon. Like, the movie takes place in the same timeline as the manga. That could be it, Mr. Star. It was called Demon Dweller when Licht had it, which was before the change from 4-leaf to 5-leaf. Well, there still could be... I think, to his point, though, if it was called the Demon Dweller before that, it still could have a demon inside of it. I don't think there is, but it's possible. What's up, I'm Trap? And I do want to say, guys, I did say the poll is wrong. It's supposed to be 349, but I can't edit it. The video, it got delayed again. So I thought I could get it done by Monday. There's just no way I'm going to be getting it done tonight and then uploading it tomorrow, because it's going to be like a 35 to 38 minute video. And while most of it is edited, like, I didn't think the conclusion of the video was going to be that long. I thought it was going to be like 5, maybe 10 minutes most, but it ended up being like 16, 17 minutes. So I'm probably not releasing the video till Wednesday now. The Black Bulls versus Pain. Which means the Black Clover's Deepest Rabbit Hole, the video that I've been hyping up for so long, it's not going to be happening till another week after that. But there's going to be a week coming up in the near future where you guys are going to get 2 videos in 1 week. But I just had the worst timing ever that I make my 2 longest and biggest videos I've ever made right after I'm starting going back to college and I'm a full-time student. What? Siri? Siri's a piece of shit. Like, I will ask a very specific and easy to hear question and she'll have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. But I'll just be ranting on stream and she'll somehow think I'm talking to her. I hate the fans who say Black Clover is a Naruto ripoff. I do have another video I want to make on that whole sham of people that say that Black Clover is a Naruto ripoff. Like, I did make a video on that a bit ago, like almost 2 years ago now. I think it was called The Ballad of a Naruto Clone or whatever. But now that I've read Bleach and I have even like more information and better ways to justify what I'm saying, it's so easy to throw the Black Clover's a Naruto clone in the mud. Like, it's such a terrible, terrible argument. Like, people, and one of the main things that people argue with why it's a ripoff is that because Asta wants to become the Wizard King and Naruto wants to become Hokage. Even though it's obvious that, well, it's not obvious, but it's provable. I can prove to you that Tabata is not taking that from Naruto. He's actually literally ripping it from Norse mythology for his story. I think I even talked about it in the video, but I'll tell you guys the story of the Norse saga that proves that Tabata took it from Norse mythology and not Naruto. And then I'm about to end the stream, but basically, I can't remember what the saga is called, but it's a Norse Viking saga. And the saga is about 2 brothers that want to become king. And they're actually not blood brothers. They become brothers through oath. So it's kind of similar to Asta, where they're brothers, but they're not blood brothers. They're orphan brothers. And they both want to be king, which is just like Asta and Yuno. And to backtrack from this, it's actually stated in the data book that Tabata does take inspiration from Norse mythology, which is obvious from all the Norse things he puts in the story. But they, like, in the data book, it literally just blatantly says that he takes inspiration from Norse mythology. And in this saga of Norse mythology, so you already have that there's 2 brothers who are not blood brothers. They want to become the king. They're rivals. but they also have huge respect for each other, which is, similar to Asta and But you might think that's a little too like vague to say that Tabata's taking from that, right? Well, no, because in the saga, one of the kings has a Valkyrie that aids him. This Valkyrie's name is Gondul. Gondul in Norse mythology, or in Old Norse, translate to wand wielder, which means he is guided by a Valkyrie that wields a wand. Does that sound like anything to you guys? Is there a Valkyrie in Black Clover that wields a wand? Yeah, it's Noelle. Noelle has a Valkyrie form, and she wields a wand. But it gets even crazier. Because the other king also has a Valkyrie guiding him. And this Valkyrie, I can't remember its name. I'll have to relook into it. But its name is tied to a plant. Like a Scandinavian plant. And this Valkyrie is a healer, which is Mimosa. Mimosa has Valkyrie symbolism because of her wings. She has plant magic, and she's a healer. And then it gets even crazier when the king that has like the Mimosa Valkyrie guiding him in this Norse saga, he fights another king from a different kingdom, and that king has a sword named Daneslif. Which Daneslif is literally a sword in Black Clover. And Daneslif is a sword that is durability negation, which is exactly what Xenon's sword is, because it's a sword of bone and spatial magic, so it cuts space. And not only that, but Daneslif in Norse mythology is made by Dane, which is a dwarf, or possibly even an elf that was an apprentice to dwarven forgemen in Norse mythology. And Dane is symbolized in Norse mythology as an elk or a deer. And there's actually a constellation, and the Scandinavians named a constellation after him. And it's interesting that Xenon has antlers, and he's using Daneslif. So it's like, when you look at all of this, it's pretty obvious after reading this that Tabata is actually taking this Norse saga, and this is why Asta wants to become the Wizard King. It's not Naruto. Like I said, I'll probably make another video on the Asta and Naruto thing, because it's hilarious at this point. There's no actual tangible evidence that Tabata's even been inspired by Naruto, let alone copying it. He's never mentioned Naruto as a reference or inspiration, and if you look at any of the similarities, it's likely that's just either coincidence, because they're both in the same genre. They're both shonen, so same age demographic. They're both battle shonen, and they're both fantasy. So there's probably going to be some similarities, but not only that, but we know that Naruto's creator, Kishimoto, he took inspiration from Dragon Ball, and he took inspiration from Yu Yu Hakusho, and other things, and also Eastern mythology and religions. Tabata has taken inspiration from Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Eastern religion and mythology as well. So if they have three of the same inspirations, that doesn't mean that he's copying Naruto. It's more likely that he's actually they're coming to similar conclusions because they're both using the same references to create their story. So, I'm so tired of the Naruto and Asta stuff. I think that was my first video on this channel, was talking about how dumb that argument is, and how it's just so dumb, and there's no backing to it. There's no tangible evidence of anything. I don't even remember if I found evidence that Tabata's even admitted to reading Naruto. I mean, he probably did, just because he was a manga fan when he was younger, so he probably just bought the magazines and read Naruto by buying the magazines. But yeah, all of the similarities are just coincidence by them being in the same demographic, same genre, similar settings as their fantasy, even though Naruto's like an Eastern fantasy and Black Clover is like a Western fantasy. But you'll see. There's so much evidence that he has not taken inspiration from Naruto, let alone copying it. Like he takes way more inspiration from Bleach. I really doubt he hasn't read Naruto. I just said he likely has read Naruto. I'm just saying there is no evidence that he has read it, really. Like, I haven't seen a statement, and there's no evidence that he is referencing it or taking inspiration from it. Because Tabata has admitted his inspirations. He said that his inspirations for Black Clover are Bleach, Berserk, Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Norse mythology, other Western mythologies, Japanese mythology. So he's already admitted his references. So for him to not ever admit that he has also taken inspiration from Naruto is a huge red flag that he is not taking inspiration from it. But no, I'm not saying you didn't disagree with me. I was just clarifying that, like, more so, like, yeah, Harry Potter. He did say he has taken inspiration from Harry Potter, which is funny. What was I saying? Like, I'm not necessarily saying that he hasn't read it. I just wouldn't be surprised if he actually hasn't read it consistently or hasn't read all of it. But yeah. But anyways, guys, it's been a good stream. Been a fun talk about Black Clover, but I gotta get going. I need to study and get working on the Black Bulls versus Pain video so I can actually get it out, because I didn't upload last week, unfortunately. So sorry about that, guys. But the next two videos are gonna be really good. They're gonna be really long to make up for missing last week's video, but they're gonna be really good. But thanks for the support, everybody. I'll probably be streaming again on Wednesday. Maybe. If I release the video on Wednesday, I won't be streaming on Wednesday. Maybe I'll just stream Tuesday or Thursday. I maybe stream Friday. But yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. And please leave a like. And then also, check out my Broku streams and highlights channel. If you came in late and you want to watch the rest of the stream, you can subscribe to that channel. I post daily on that channel, but a mixture of actual full streams and clips. But yeah, this stream will be on that channel. So thanks, everybody, and hope you guys have an amazing day.